In this lesson, we'll be learning about echinoderm classes. First, remember what an echinoderm is. Echinoderms are characterized by spiny skin, an internal skeleton, a water vascular system, and suction cup-like structures called tube feet. Most adult echinoderms exhibit 5-part symmetry. So all of these classes that we talk about have these characteristics. They may look different, and they may use these characteristics in different ways, but they have them all, and that's why they are in phylum Echinodermata. Our first class is class Asteroidea. Aster means star, eidos means form, so their name literally means in the form of a star. The common name for these organisms are sea stars or starfish, and their main defining characteristic is that they are star-shaped, with arms not sharply demarcated from the central disk. That just means that you have a hard time telling where their central disk ends and where their arms begin. That will become more apparent in the next class. They move by creeping slowly along the ocean floor using 2 feet. They are carnivores, meaning they eat meat, other animals, and some species can expel their stomach to digest food externally. That means some species of asteroideans can put their stomach outside of their mouth, so the stomach is outside of their body, and begin digesting food that way, and then they can suck it in. That helps them digest prey larger than themselves. Here are some pictures of asteroideans. This one that just came up is called a sun star, so even though it has more than 5 legs, it still has that radial symmetry that is a characteristic of adult echinoderms. Our next class is class Ophiuroidea. Ophis means snake, ora means tail, and eidos means form, so this name means snake in the form of a snake tail. The common name for these organisms are brittle stars. So their arms may look like a snake tail, but they are also very skinny, and so they are called brittle stars because they look more delicate or brittle than sea stars. Their defining characteristic is that they are also star-shaped, but their arms are sharply demarcated from the central disk. So here you can see that this is the central disk, this round feature here, and you can definitely tell where their arms begin and where the central disk ends. They have slender, flexible arms, and they can move quite rapidly to escape predators. And if they are attacked, they can shed 1 or more arms to distract the predator. So the arm will kind of swim away from the main body, distracting the predator, and then the main body can get away. And they will grow new arms. The type of eaters they are filter feeders and detritivores. That's another difference between class Asteroidea. Class Asteroideans are carnivores. These guys are filter feeders and detritivores, meaning they eat decaying matter. Here are some pictures of brittle stars. You can definitely tell in that one the demarcation from the central disk and the arms. So those are brittle stars. Our next class is class Echinoidea. Echinos means sea urchin and eidos means form. So these are sea urchins and sand dollars. Their defining characteristic is that they are globe or disc shaped. They have no arms and they have movable spines. The type of eaters they are detritivores and grazers, which means they are herbivores. Here are some sea urchins. That globe-like shape. Some sea urchins have very long spines, some have short. And that one, the spines are very, very short. And then these also include sand dollars. You may have seen a sand dollar, which is the leftover internal skeleton of a sand dollar that you've seen maybe held in your hand, but this is a picture of living sand dollars. Our next class is class Holothuriidea. Holothurion means sea cucumber and eidos means form. So their common name is sea cucumbers. And looking at this picture, you can probably tell why. A long, stretched out body. They are cucumber shaped, which means they're like an elongated cylinder. They have no arms and no spines. They have modified tube feet called oral tentacles that help filter particles out of the water, which means they're filter feeders. They suck up organic matter as they move along the ocean floor. There's a living sea cucumber and another one. In this picture, we can see those modified tube feet called oral tentacles, and these help filter the particles out of the sea water, the sea floor. And there's another interesting example of oral tentacles. The last class in class Echinoidea that we're going to be talking about is class Crinoidea. Krinon in Greek means lily, and eidos means form, so these are in the form of a lily, meaning they kind of look like a plant or a flower. Their common name is sea lilies or feather stars. And their defining characteristic is that they have 5 or more radially symmetrical arms branching at the base on a stalk. So in this picture, here is a stalk. Here's the base, and then the 5 or more radially symmetrical arms branching. They are filter feeders. They use their arms to gather particles that are floating in the water. So that's a crinoid, a sea lily. In this picture, you can see the stalk coming up to the base, and then the arms branching out. These are feather stars. The difference between sea lilies and feather stars, sea lilies have a longer stalk than feather stars. There's another feather star. Very short stalk. In fact, you probably can't even see it at all. This one's a little bit more apparent. And then there's a sea lily at the bottom of the ocean floor. There's its stalk with its radially symmetrical head. So even though these organisms may not look like animals, they fit our characteristic of what an animal is. They feed, they respirate, they circulate, excrete, move, respond, and reproduce. So they fulfill all those 7 survival characteristics, so they still are animals. So that is our lesson on echinoderm classes.